Hey, did you know that you can send an email really easily with your Google Apps script? And yes, you can. So there's a lot of really nice things that you can do. And we've already seen a little bit with the logger. This is used for debugging. There's also the class session. So we can actually use the session in order to get the user information, and then the mail service that we can use the mail app service in order to send emails. And this again is just going to be surprisingly easy. With just one line of code, you can really do quite a bit. So let's take a closer look at the logger class. And we've seen that we can log some data, so writes a string to the console, logging console. We can get the log, we can clear the log, and we can also write formatted string to the logging console using the values. So there's quite a bit that you can do with the log. And going over to the developer.google.com website, they always give you some great examples of how to select and how to use the various classes and methods that are available. And there's that mail one, that send mail one that we're going to be looking at. So there's also the session class. And this is really useful because we can actually get the user's information. So we can get where the user is located. And with the user information, okay, there's not a whole lot of stuff that you can get. You can really only get the email address. So in order to get the user's email address, you can use get active user, get email, and this is going to get the email address of the active user. Let's try this one out. So going into the apps, the script that we used earlier, and this will be, we can just call this one email me, because ultimately it will send an email. So first we need to have an email that we want to send the content to, and we can just use this method in order to get the email address. And let's log it out in the log. So using logger log, and we'll output the email into the log. So let's try this script. Going into and running the script, and then going under view logs session. So there's the email address, and this is my account that I'm using in order to log in and interact with the interface. So that was the correct email. So let's set up a few other variables. So every email does need a subject, right? So this can be, we'll call it test email. And then also we need to have some contents for the body. So let's create a body, and typically let's do something like hello world, and it works. And you can also be creative here and write yourself a nice cool message within the body that you're going to send. And now the last part of this lesson, and where all the magic happens, in literally one line of code. So all of the buildup has just been for this one simple line of code. So when I select the mail app and send email, it gives us all of the options. So we can do the object message, which gives us some more parameters. We can send it as HTML and so on. There's also just the regular send email, and this is the one that we're going to be using, where we're not using any of the additional options. We're simply sending, so we've got an email address, we've got a subject and a body. So let's select this one. So it's looking for a recipient, and recipient will be email. And then subject and body, we already have as variable names. So we've already got those as values that we are sending in the email. And believe it or not, that's it. That's all we need in order to create and send the email. And of course, if you already had that email address, if you already had a subject and body, you could do this in one line of code. So let's try this out and run the email me. And of course, permissions, because we are acting as the account user and sending the email address. So make sure that you log in and accept the permissions for your account. And in this case, send email as you is the permission that we're adding to the first script. So we're going to allow this. And then going into our email address, so we're just sending that email to ourselves. And as you can see, there's going to be always security alerts whenever we are using the app script and accepting permissions. Google will usually typically send us a security alert to the email address. So that's what we've got down there. And there is our email. So hello world, it works. And easy as that to send yourself an email. So have some fun with it. Send an email out to yourself or even to a friend using the mail app class from Google Script.